is now mounting on the Director of Criminal Investigations, George Kinoti, and the Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP Haji, to end their constant wrangling and get back to work. Amani National Congress Party leader Musalia Mudavadi wants the two to mend their fences as their Cold War was hurting the war on corruption. The camaraderie between the DPP and DCI has waned in recent days, and NTV has learned that officers in their offices seem driven by conflicting interests that have seen their vigor and zeal deteriorate. NTV's Kennedy Murithi with more.
They were once the face of hope in the country, and it was becoming increasingly frightening for the corrupt in the country to hear the two talk about a case they were involved in. They were the president's go-to men and received accolades for their efforts to fight evil in society. To the eyes of most Kenyans, they were God-sent and they did well for a while. They would go to assignments together, make grand statements, and inspire the nation on their sole duty of leading the anti-corruption war, one that has been with the country since independence. But that picture is fast fading away.
Did you say that? Where?
Their public appearances together are becoming rare.
Absolutely, because of these things when they say
They, or at least their officers, are engaged in constant infighting, and the hope in the two is slowly turning into a nightmare.
The entire spectrum of the war against crime, and especially that against corruption, is dangerously under threat. When those charged with the responsibility of fighting crime begin fighting each other instead of fighting crime.
In March, faced with the probable prosecution of former Kenya Ports Authority boss Daniel Manduku, the two pulled apart, resulting in the setting free of Manduku. The question of their differences cropped up as they appeared in public together in a show of unity, but it remained just that, a public relations stunt.
We cannot ignore the truth in the saying that where there is smoke, there is fire.
Amani National Congress leader Musalia Mudavadi, just like many others keen on the war against corruption, are worried that the continued standoff will deal a total paralysis on the fight and result in mocking their efforts this far.
We cannot afford to be the country in which investigations disappear quietly and inconclusively between the DCI and the DPP, just because the two officers are not able to work together.
Last month, the DCI locked out officers from the DPP from their ongoing cases in what was seen as a move to control the much they know. Last week, the two were again embroiled in a tiff that saw Water Harvesting and Storage Authority Chief Executive Officer Geoffrey Sang released after he was arrested on corruption charges.
The appointing authority needs to call them to order once and for all.
Before the Sang case, the two had pledged to work together and set aside sideshows, but it is increasingly becoming hard as DCI Kinoti believes DPP Haji has let him down. Kennedy Murithi, NTV.